The life you dreamed of isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to take the first messy, courageous step, regardless of how you feel. Part 1. Introduction. The silent thief of your potential. Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to the space. I want you to take a deep breath with me for a moment. Perhaps you've just sat down with a hot brew, maybe a frothy cappuccino or a soothing herbal tea, and you're finally giving yourself permission to just be for 20 minutes. I'm so glad you're here. This is our safe harbour, a place where we strip away the noise of the world and look honestly at the things that keep us playing small. Today, we're diving into a topic that feels a bit like a gentle tug on the sleeve, but it's one we desperately need to address. We're talking about the "I'll start when" lie. You know the one. I'll apply for that promotion when I finish this extra course. I'll launch my podcast when I feel more confident speaking. I'll set these boundaries when things at home feel a little calmer. It sounds so logical, doesn't it? It sounds like preparation. It sounds like being responsible. But if I'm being truly heart-led with you today, I have to tell you the truth. Waiting is often the most expensive habit you have. It isn't just costing you time, it's costing you your self-belief, your momentum, and the very version of yourself you're trying to become. In this episode, we're going to peel back the layers of why we wait. We'll explore how fear wears a very organized outfit, and it's called planning. Most importantly, I want you to show you how to break the cycle. We aren't looking for a giant leap into the unknown. We're looking for micro courage, tiny, honest steps that build the evidence your brain needs to finally believe in your power. Part 2. The 2-year lag and the price of perfection. I want to share a story with you about a woman I worked with recently. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah is brilliant. She's one of those women who walks into a room and you just know she's got it all together. She's sharp, empathetic, and has a vision for a creative consultancy that could genuinely change the industry. When Sarah first came to me for confidence coaching, she told me she had been getting ready to launch her business for 2 years. 2 years, my loves. She had the spreadsheet. She had the branding colours picked out. 3 different palettes, actually. She had a folder on her laptop titled Future Business Content that was bursting with ideas. But every time she got close to the publish button, the same whisper would start. You aren't quite ready yet. You need to see how the market shifts first. You need to make sure your first post is perfect. Otherwise, people will think that you don't know what you're doing. Sarah was trapped in what I call the waiting room of life. It felt safe there. There was no risk of rejection in the waiting room. There was no possibility of a typo or a failed launch, but there was also no growth. One afternoon, Sarah saw a post on LinkedIn from a former colleague. This colleague had launched a consultancy remarkably similar to Sarah's vision. Only the branding wasn't as polished, the services weren't as deep as Sarah's, but she was doing it. She was out there, helping people and making a profit. Sarah told me that seeing that post felt like a physical blow to the stomach. It wasn't jealousy. It was the surreal, loud realization of what her waiting had cost her. She had lost 2 years of impact, 2 years of income, and 2 years of building her own authority, all because she was waiting to feel ready. We often think risk is in the doing. We fear the mistake, but the real hidden danger is the slow erosion of our spirit that happens when we stay still. When we wait, we're essentially telling our subconscious, I don't trust you to handle the mess. And that, my loves, is a very heavy price to pay. Part 3. why we wait and the hidden costs. So, why do we do it? Why do we settle into the discomfort of standing still rather than the discomfort of moving forward? It really comes down to three main anchors. 1. Fear disguised as preparation. This is the sneakiest one. We tell ourselves we're being diligent or thorough. We buy another course, read another book, or do another week of market research. But at some point, preparation becomes a form of procrastination. It's fear wearing a clipboard. We think that if we just gather enough information, we can eliminate the risk of feeling embarrassed or failing. But here is the tender truth. You cannot research your way out of vulnerability of being a beginner. 2. The perfectionism trap. Perfectionism is rarely about high standards. It's about a deep-seated fear of judgment. We believe that if we start perfectly, we're safe from criticism. We wait for the perfect timing, the perfect words, the perfect level of confidence. But perfectionism is a moving target. The more you wait for it, the further away it feels because your expectations grow faster than your actions. And 3, the misunderstanding of confidence. We've been taught that confidence is a prerequisite for action. We think, once I feel confident, then I'll do the thing. But that's not how the human brain works. Confidence is actually a byproduct of action. It is the evidence you give yourself that you can do hard things. If you're waiting to feel fearless, you might be waiting forever. Brave women aren't fearless. They're simply women who have decided that their purpose is louder than their doubt. What is this costing you? When you allow waiting to become a habit, the costs accumulate like interest on a debt you never intended to take out. Lost self-trust. Every time you tell yourself you'll start on Monday and you don't, you break a tiny promise to yourself. Over time, your trust withers. You stop believing your own word. Lost opportunity. The world moves quickly. The role you wanted gets filled. The client you could have had, find someone else. The creative spark you had dims because it wasn't nurtured. And then the identity gap. You start to see yourself as someone who never follows through or someone who isn't quite good enough yet. You begin to identify with the waiting rather than the doing. If you're feeling a bit called out right now, please know I say this so much with love. I've been in that waiting room too. I know how cozy the chairs are, but the view never changes in there. It's time for a gentle reset. Part 4, Practical Steps. The Start Messy Framework and Micro Courage. So, how do we actually move? How do we stop the waiting habits from draining our potential? I want to introduce you to a simple but transformational framework I use with my clients. The Start Messy approach, powered by Micro Courage. So step 1 is embrace the B- version. If you're waiting for an A+ start, you'll never leave the starting block. I want you to give yourself permission to be average at first. Your first podcast episode won't be the best. Your first client session won't be as thick as your 100th. Your first boundary conversation might feel clunky and awkward. That is okay. Imperfect action will always beat perfect procrastination. You are allowed to be a beginner. Step 2. Implement micro courage. Big confidence is built in small, quiet moments that no one else sees. Instead of trying to leap to the end goal, ask yourself, what is the smallest, bravest thing I can do in the next 5 minutes? Don't write the whole book. Write one honest paragraph. Don't launch the whole business. Send one email to a potential collaborator. Don't overhaul your entire life. Fill out the Wheel of Life worksheet to see where you actually are. These tiny acts of micro courage act as an anchor for your new identity. They are the evidence that says, I'm a woman who moves. Step 3, shift your mindset. I want you to practice these 3 mindset shifts this week. 1, from what if I fail to what if this changes everything? We are so conditioned to look for the disaster. Start looking for the magic. 2, from I'm not ready to I'm learning. Readiness is a myth. Learning is a reality. Position yourself as a lifelong student and suddenly the pressure to be perfect disappears. And 3, from thinking is progress to movement is clarity. You cannot think your way into a new life. You have to walk into it. Clarity is found on the road, not in the armchair. A 24-hour challenge. Here is my homework, my lovelies. I want you to pick one thing you've been putting off because you don't feel ready. In the next 24 hours, I want you to take one tiny, messy, imperfect step towards it. It could be post that photo, apply for that role, have that difficult conversation, sign up for a confidence coaching session with myself. Don't overthink it, just move. The moment you move, the waiting habit starts to lose its grip on you. Part 5. Final thoughts. Your next chapter begins now. As we wrap up this episode of Cappuccinos and Confidence, I want you to remember that you are capable of so much more than your fear is telling you. The version of you that is confident, aligned, and taking bold action isn't a different person. She's just you minus the waiting. Waiting feels like safety, but it's actually a cage. And the beautiful thing, you hold the key. It always starts with one brave, messy step. If you found today's episode helpful, I would be so grateful if you share it with a friend who might be stuck in their own waiting room. We are building a community of ambitious, heart-led women here, and some men, and your support means the world to me. Your coffee reflection for the week. Where in my life am I calling fear preparation? And what would change if I trusted myself to start before I was ready? If you're ready to dive deeper into this work and finally break through the self-doubt that's holding you back, I would love to support you. You can explore my confidence coaching packages or take the imposter syndrome quiz to start uncovering what's really standing in your way. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Nefe86 for daily dose of encouragement and behind the scenes glimpse into how I'm practicing my own micro courage every day. Until next time, my loves, stay brave, stay messy, and remember, you are already enough. So much love. Nefe. Bye.